and speak, because I do. What's really awful about tonight is, honestly, this is the last time that the seniors are really a part of the program. And, you really do hate to see them go, because this is closure on the season. And for me, just personally, I owe a lot to these the seniors and obviously everybody in the room. But for me, it is a joyous occasion because we want to celebrate, what they have done. And I know everybody wants to win. Everybody in this room wanted the program to win this year. I know that. And there's a frustration from all of us, I think. We all want better in terms of success on the field. And, I told the players one morning that, I wish I could just snap my fingers and magically, it would just happen. But it doesn't happen that way. Everybody else is working just as hard as we are. They're putting the time in. So, I felt like, we made some strides. It maybe didn't show up. I think it did in many ways. And I'm really pleased overall with a lot that happened this season. Just a quick rundown. I'll say this, and no one likes excuses because that's what they are. They're just an excuse. But I was very excited before the season. Obviously, the summer and the COVID, I think, impacted the team, and every team had to deal with it in a certain way. I thought the administration here did a great job of allowing us to get into the gym in July. But we didn't get normal lifting. We didn't get normal practice. Some of us did practice together. It was a weird situation. And honestly, before the season started, I'm not sure any of us really thought that we would even have a full season. I mean, let's be honest, we had senior night on our first home game because everybody in the room thought that this could be it. As it turned out, there were two games that I was very disappointed in, I think, if I look back this season. One is, I know that Greencastle wasn't that much better than us. But I do know this, we get to West Vigo, we play that game without our two starting inside linebackers. And we have the lead. Our kids played a beautiful game that night. West Vigo ended up winning 6 games this year, had an excellent season. The next week we played Western Boone, and everybody said, oh, Western Boone, they're not. Well, here they're in the Final Four again, right? I mean, everybody, Western Boone is still, right now, this year, was Western Boone. Now, of course, we play Danville, who's still playing right now. I told the kids we'll play in the Dome. I do firmly believe that. And then you think, gosh, we had South Humber right there. And that really, honestly, that was a great football game. It was. I want to say something about West Vigo, too, and I know the players remember this, but if you think back to that game, we come up, wham, we smoke the quarterback, ball fumbled right to the tailback and catches it in stride and scores a touchdown. In some ways, I tell you, this team was snake-bit a little bit. I don't know why. North Montgomery, I didn't think we played our best game. I was proud of the kids against Lebanon. I thought we stood up very well. Obviously, Tri-West, one of the best teams in the state. And at Frankfurt, we get off to a great start. That was a good football game. And it was interesting to talk to the Frankfurt coaches, who I know pretty well, after the game. And they pointed out, had they not had a couple of wins during the season, they said, you would have beaten us. And the difference was they had won a couple of games early, and their kids kind of believed. Where for us, it's really hard. I don't care who you are. We can all in this room pretend. But when you don't have success, doubt creeps in. It just creeps in. And I think it creeps in all of us. I need to do a better job next year as a coach, but hopefully we're not put in this situation again. I was very proud of the boys. Yorktown was an excellent team. I didn't care what anybody says, their record. So, these boys played a very tough schedule this year. They were faced with a lot of adversity. It was a very unique season for all of us. And we were lucky. We were able to play a full season. A lot of people weren't. That was possible because of many people. First of all, you parents in this room, first of all, I want to thank you for doing what we don't see. Like setting up rides and dealing with things behind the scenes that we don't see as coaches. We appreciate everything you do that we do see. But I know now, obviously as a parent, my kids play sports, how involved it is to be a parent and how it controls basically every day the schedule of your kid doing something. So I can't thank you enough for the support you've given us. I understand that some of you in this room probably wish for better. I think your sons are being treated very well by the coaches we have right here. Certainly there are some individual parents, and I don't want to miss anybody, but I'm going to list a few here. Obviously the Cheneys have played a big part. Heather's just been very, very big help to me. The Pals in helping raise money this year and setting things up. The Abneys, the Booze and Bars, right? The Booze and Bars bring us Gatorade, the Booze and Bars bring us food, unbelievably good food. The Smiths, the Pendletons, the Schraders who have supported, really everybody in this room who has supported us, I want to publicly thank you for what you've done. You have made this job for me so much easier, and I truly do appreciate Crawfordsville is a great place to live. We had several businesses this year just give money. Town and Country, Mr. Whitecotton over here, Coach Whitecotton, right, gave us money so we could get free t-shirts, right? Your sons didn't have to pay for their t-shirt or shorts this year. We had the same thing from law firm Taylor, Burnett, Chad, Schneider, and Cutter, but they gave money this year, so we had free t-shirts for the middle school as well. Tri-County gave us money. Dr. Richard Walker, I always call him Doc Walker, and then I go to his son. You know, just gives a donation because he still cares about the program to help pay for things. What an awesome thing. The administration here, from Mr. Barton to Mr. Hunt to Mr. Melton, has done nothing but support us in any way that they can. And we wouldn't have had a season this year if it wasn't for their hard work. Certainly, Doug's not here tonight, but we all know our trainer and how good Doug is. Just does an outstanding. You're lucky, and I say that. He is a better trainer than some of them I've been a part of, that's all I'll say. I'm not going to criticize somebody else, but Doug does an excellent job here. Really, the faculty has been supportive of our program. They've helped your kids when they needed help. It was a strange year academically, it still is. I'm sure that some of you in this room are probably still struggling. I know I'm dealing with that at my household, just because of the quarantines and the not quarantines and the assignments and some teachers. I think the faculty's done a good job. There's a lot on the teacher right now. It's just a different year of teaching. Just like it's a different year of being a student, a different year of being an athlete. And I think our faculty did a great job of supporting us. Certainly our coaching staff over here, starting with Rex Riker, Dr. Riker, you know how busy he obviously is right now and everything he does. And really he is in charge of the construction. And as you see it happening, and you think back to where we were last year, you walked in here and the lockers are here, it's changed and it's better and it's updated and they're not done yet. And my hope is it'll be done so these seniors can see it before they graduate this spring. I want to thank Dr. Riker for everything that he's done. Sean Gerald obviously is not here tonight. He's quarantined. I think he's, I'm sure he's ready to get out. You know, 4 little kids running around the house. Daddy daycare is probably getting a little bit old for him. You can ask him. I'm sure he'd tell you that. Sean he knows everything. If I need something, I ask Sean. Sean knows where it's at, what to do. Nobody puts more time in than Coach Gerald. Coach Tony Bean did a great job this year with our JV, and our JV is off to a 2-0 start, and really our JV season got cut short because of injuries and things like that. I really feel bad for those kids. He'll talk about that a little bit later. Coach Whitecotton puts his time in. I thought Coach Whitecotton was a better coach this year. He was more active, more involved, and we're lucky to have Coach Whitecotton here. Coach Rhett Welder, who is filming back here tonight. That guy's been a part of championship pedigree his whole life. That's what he knows. That's what his family knows. One thing I know about Coach Welder, he knows about winning, but he also knows about people. He knows about kids. He knows how to, if I ever had something, I'd go to Coach Welder and say, what do I do? What do you think? He always seems to have that right answer. Coach Mike Jones over here, we had a coach quit on us this year after the season started. We go down to Coach Jones that day, and he says, I'm in. It was awesome. I mean, he wanted to be a part of the program. We hope he comes back next year. And then Coach Ryan Barr right here volunteered his time. He's been over at the middle school. You know, he volunteered, no pay, and was here every day he could be here, cares about the kids. You could see growth in his coaching as the season went on, more active, and hopefully we get Coach Barr back. I don't know. I can tell you that we don't pay as much as the other job you're looking for is probably going to pay here, Coach Barr, so, but we'll love to have you. Our middle school coaches, just real quick, Coach Kent Manette, Thomas Logan, Jake Lowe, Cale McCarty, and Tony Bowen did a nice job. We had more kids playing middle school football this year, which is a positive. I want to publicly thank our players. You know that we went over there and practiced at Hoover Field with those guys, and I'm telling you that made a difference. They liked that. Our kids did a nice job of adjusting to going over there. We're all trying to make make this a family affair. You know, one thing our kids broke down and you heard them say family. And we want to keep building on that here at CHS, the football program. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start with varsity letter winners. Now, I'm going to name every name. There's going to be some of you, some kids who aren't here who are watching at home. So what you're going to get to start with right here is, if you're a first-time letter winner, you're actually going to get your letter. If you want a letter, you get your pen, and I do have some pictures up here. So when I call your name, come on up, we'll give you your stuff, and then you can go back and sit down right now. Okay, we'll start with Keegan Abney, senior Keegan Abney. Keegan is a man who has, I'm surprised he's walking on both legs. It seems like he's had trouble with both knees here since he's been here. We'll certainly miss Keegan, and he did an outstanding job this year. Next, Caleb Bell, senior. Caleb is a man who cares. Like, I tell you, he cared, meaning that whatever he did, you were going to get his very best. And I have him in class, lucky enough to have him in class, great student, great teacher, and I wish nothing but the best for Caleb. Next, Peyton Busenbark, senior. Some kids are also getting pictures. I have those pictures, by the way, if you bought those, so we'll pass those out tonight. Boosie, a two-way starter for us.
Yeah, we want to make sure everybody can see it.
Okay, we have that camera right there. We're movie star tonight, Boosie. Eli French, who I know is not here. Hi, Eli. Hopefully you're watching. Congratulations. Next is Jaden Clark, senior. Jaden was a young man who came to me this summer and said, Coach, I don't know. I'm thinking about getting a job. And, you know, I told him, I said, you know what, Jaden, you're only a senior once. And trust me, once you graduate, you can work every day the rest of your life, and they'll be happy to have you. He decided to play, and he made a real difference on our team this year. Thank you, Jaden. Andrew Martin, senior. Andrew, this year, if I needed something, I went to Andrew. Back when we were on quarantine in the spring, Andrew was there. He was excited. I know that he was hoping for a better season, as all the seniors were, but Andrew had a great season, much improved from his junior year. You can see a real difference. I know Andrew's interested in playing college football. I hope he does. Next is Trey McLemore. Here comes Trey. He's all decked out in his tie. That is Trey. If you know Trey, that's Trey. First-class individual. We were lucky to get Trey to come out to play football this year. He get his first varsity letter right here. Right here, Trey. Wave at the camera. Thank you. By the way, outstanding student, outstanding. Next, we have Jack Pendleton. Jack, senior, poor guy, it seemed like his whole season was just a series of like this and that. Starts with he has a very good scrimmage, and the next thing you know, I find out that he's hurt. And then he plays that he's hurt. It was just one of those years for Jack that we appreciate everything Jack has done, and we wish him nothing but the best moving forward. Next is senior Noah Nelson. Noah, every day, energy, excitement. I mean, you've never seen a guy more excited to get in the game than Noah. We all know that. Thank you, Noah. Next is senior Moises Mora. Moises, you want to watch a film this year and see just an unbelievable game. You watch Moises' film against Frankfurt and see the 20-some tackles he had that night. Total domination. Thank you, Moises. Great job this year. Next is Nate Schrader. One thing about Nate is you can always pick Nate out, right? Because he's such a big guy and he stands out so much because of his size and his skill. Here, Nate, picture. Nate's also a guy that changed numbers a lot in his career, from 99 to 50, whatever it may be. So Nate played with whatever that thing was on his hand for 5 weeks and gave us everything he had, and really appreciate Nate doing that because, you know, there was a time we weren't sure if Nate was going to get to play this year, and he stuck it out, and we were lucky to have Nate. Corbin Smith, senior. Corbin's at home tonight, not because he won wants to be. I feel bad for him, but hi, Corbin, how are you doing? All right, junior Noah Adair. Good to see Noah moving around. He was injury-riddled as the season went on this year. But Noah was a starter for us on the O-line. He did an outstanding job. He's hitting the weights right now. We're going to get bigger and better for next year, right, Noah? Yes, sir. Next is Nick Busenbart. Hey, we put Nick in the lineup and Nick never came out. That just means that Nick got an opportunity. We always tell kids to be ready. You get your chance. Nick got his chance, and Nick never lost his spot. Nick's working very hard in the weight room right now, and we're really excited about that. Next is junior Evan Cheney. Evan, another one of those who fought through an injury this year, came back better. He honestly, when he came back, he was a better player. He used his time when he was hurt this year to get his mind to be a better player in his body when he came back, and we're really pleased and excited about Evan's future. Next is junior Kagan Fields. Kagan was our leading rusher this year. You see a lot of potential with Kagan. Now, he had some injury issues. Did you wait for the camera? Okay. You see a couple of the catches, the one-handed catches that he made. You see the run in the last game against Shoretown. Kagan's in the waiver room right now. We're expecting big things from Kagan next year. I know he's going to deliver. Next is junior Alex Hernandez. Alex, you could just tell this year when Alex wasn't there the Danville week, it just mattered. He's a presence on our team. And we're hoping to have a more dominant Alex Hernandez this year. Certainly he is a dominant player already. We want him to be even more next year. Junior Gavin Kenny. Gavin started the year out phenomenal. I can remember Coach Riker's like, man, you've got to take a hard look at this Kenny kid. He is really talented. And unfortunately for Gavin, right, his season gets cut short at Danville. We hope Gavin plays next year. We know that we got him to come back to football this year. I can remember this summer when I went over to his house, me and Coach Bean were just walking around the neighborhood. I told him, I can't promise you won't get hurt. Of course, bang, he gets hurt. So, unfortunately for Gavin, the season wasn't perfect, but really excited about his future. Junior Michael Lee. We're in the weight room yesterday, and Michael Lee is throwing up 225, Alex, just so you know that. He might be one of the strongest kids, if not the strongest kid in our program right now. And I challenge somebody to beat Lee on the bench. Michael's a worker. Michael has a motor. And if we get Michael all going in the same direction next year, we'll be good.
You only have to move the bar like 4 inches. It's not fair.
Well, now, there's a little bit of truth to that. All right. I would be careful. I think he knows how to wrestle too. Yeah. All right, next on our list is junior Ethan Patton. Hopefully Ethan's watching at home. We have this picture here. Ethan was a young man who, he started the year out, and like, what position is Ethan going to play? And he probably played 5 different positions. We had him at DM, we moved to linebacker, we played him at running back. One of my favorite moments of the season, and I know probably wasn't his favorite, but he plays JV, and his brother and him are handing off, going up and down the field, and we get the ball all the way down the 1-yard line, and wham, fumble. Ethan has a lot of potential, and we really are counting on Ethan to be a big part of our program next year. Next, junior Ethan Powell. When Ethan gets hurt, which was an unfortunate accident in practice, you got to be careful when you run into Nate Schrader. Anyway, he was our leading tackler. I think back to the Greencastle games, 4th down, very first series of the year, 4th down and 1, we go for it. And boom, we throw a little 5-yard pass to Ethan. I think people forget, like, that was a loss for our team, like a 2-way loss. We had a lot of that this year, and I don't know, like I said, just kind of a snake bit season. Looking forward to having Ethan back next year. Next on our list right here would be junior Zeke Cardenas. Zeke's at home. I don't think Zeke wants to be at home, but Zeke's at home. sophomore, Calvin Ditmar. Calvin's a long-time scenario. Calvin just started off like gangbusters this year. Did a great job with JV. Really was kind of forced into playing varsity. But if you go back and watch, there are plays when you see some real potential out of Calvin. We're counting on him for next year. Next is sophomore Cale Hutchison. Okay, Hutchison here. Hutchison started for us on the O-line, did a great job this year. Next is sophomore Antonio Madrigal. He's been texting me tonight. He's on quarantine. Next is sophomore Austin Peters. Finally, we have a couple more sophomores here. Isaac Rogers. Those wrestlers just got, never mind. By the way, who in here is a good wrestler? A good wrestler? I wasn't either. You're a good wrestler, Moises? Yeah, I don't know. We like our wrestlers. What's that? Yeah. I wish those wrestlers well. I hope they get back to school and they can have a season this year. All right, sophomore Caden Underwood. There's nobody on our team who gets all that in certain moments, and Mr. Underwood here, some of them probably not quite as justified as others, but one thing about me with quarterbacks, I've coached a lot of them over the years. I have a high ceiling in terms of like what we expect, and we have real high hopes for Caden. We need Caden to have a great off season. As it turned out, I think he was the second leading passer in the conference when the season ended. If you check the stats today, I'm sure that's not true because Danville's still playing and such. But really, if you look at the season Caden had, he toughed it out several times, and really pleased with his work ethic, his potential, and we have real high hopes moving forward with him. Sophomore Michael Willis. All right, we did have 3 freshmen this year earn their varsity letter, which is quite an honor, and we'll talk more about that as the night goes on. First is freshman Ethan McElmore. I like to call him EMAC. Play that stands out to me this year, we're at Danville, things aren't going great, intercepts the pass, runs it down, gets horse collar, which should have been a penalty. They don't call it, he fumbles, they get the ball back. Like, that was one of the best plays we had all season, and it was made by a freshman. Outstanding games, just if you watch on film, Ethan's going to be a real star for us in the future. Another freshman who gets his letter tonight is Jordan Trout. He is also quarantined, poor kid. And we had one other freshman earning his varsity letter, that's Cale Weimer. Cale is a kid that I saw him this summer at travel baseball. I'm there, I'm walking around. All of a sudden I'm like, hey, I know you. And he looks at me, yeah, I know you too. And the next thing you know, I got Cale playing football. He did play in junior high. We have really think a lot of Cale as he gains confidence. And we all know that he's an excellent baseball player and basketball player, but it's kids like him that are going to make a difference in our program moving forward. All right, those were our varsity letters for this year. I'm going to turn this over right now to Coach Bean, and he's going to take care of our kids that didn't. Let me just say, the kids that don't get a varsity letter, there are rules in place. We'd love to give everybody a letter. There are rules like how much and this and that, and then it comes down to coach's discretion. So I thought our young kids did a great job. I know their season got cut short, but I'll turn this over to Coach Bean, and he can talk more about that.
All right, thank you. You can go to the seat if you want, Coach.
No, it's okay.
All right, I'm going to bring 4 people up at the same time and make them stand here while I talk about it for a second. So I want our manager crew to come up here. Morgan Hutchinson, Caden Skilland, Shelby Browning, and Derek Goble. Derek are getting their first varsity letter tonight, so congratulations to them, and another varsity letter for Cadence and Sheldon. So you guys got to step for a second. Now, social distancing part. I don't want anyone. These people are amazing, and I mean that. These three ladies, every single day, had laundry detail. And it was a big deal, obviously, because we had to keep things clean. So they spent their practice coming in every day and gathering up all the stinky, wet, ugly, nasty laundry, taking it down and washing it and drying it and bringing it back the previous day's laundry. And that would take pretty much the whole practice. And Derek's out there every single day on the field in practice, filling up water bottles and making sure that nobody's going thirsty, and anything else we need, go grab this, go grab that, go grab this. Game day, same thing. So this is an underappreciated group by the players a lot of times. I mean, I'm not saying they were mean to them or anything like that, but take a minute and give these guys a round of applause, because they are unseen. Before I bring any players up, actually, no, I'm going to do the same thing with these players. We are going to bring whoever's up, come on up here and get your certificate, and then I'm going to make you stand up here while we talk about the season real quick. I won't be long, but I do want to do that. So, Eric Briones, if he's here. Brendan Buzabar. Saw this guy, Josh Dixon. Cole Smith. Right. Ethan Cooper. Bryce Dow. Caden Patton. Jacob Russell. Ashton Wilson. Skylar Hample. And Grayson Walters. All right, so you four get to stand up here and represent the guys that aren't here. Our season was weird. Coach talked about it earlier. Started out the season 2-0 with an incredible offense. We won a game 2-0, and won the other game. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was low scoring as well. Defense ruled the roost. So I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my defensive coaches, Ryan Barr and Coach Jones, who took care of all of that and got us some wins. I started telling them we got to have scoring out of our defense until I get this thing figured out. These players were dealing with the first year. This is my second year of coaching football, but my first year of actually really trying to figure things out, calling an offense. These guys were learning a new offense. And we start out the season 2-0, and that's because of them. Every day in practice, we did get some time early on where we could practice by ourselves, no defense necessarily, but we could run offense on air, we could run defense on air, and that's a difficult thing to do, but they listened and then applied it on Saturdays. It was absolutely awesome. And then we played Weibo in game 3, and if there was anyone that was there, it was really, really windy, and we're a passing team, and it was difficult. It was really hard to throw the ball, so we struggled to score, but our defense kept us right in the game, and I don't even remember, was that 6-0?
Yes.
Yeah, 6-0 to Weibo. And then some injuries started happening and some a lot of things happened to the whole program, and our team really, really changed. Had a lot of guys step up from the JV and play meaningful varsity minutes, and it was super helpful. Obviously, we needed that, but it hurt the JV quite a bit in terms of being able to sustain that winning attitude. And honestly, obviously, we had some games end up having to get canceled. That stinks. But during that, these guys still came every single day and worked their butts off. I can't say enough about that. So regardless of how the last half of the season went, I'm going to remember those first 3 games and the way things were supposed to play out, and say I'm very, very confident that we would have won our fair share of games if we could have played a complete schedule, top to bottom. So to you guys, thank you very, very much. I do want to say again, thanks to Coach Jones and Coach Barr for everything that you guys helped me with. We worked well together. I really feel that, and I think they would say the same thing. I hope the players really enjoyed everything they got this season. And then I want to thank Coach Welliver, too, that even though he was more of a varsity quarterback guru, that's not Coach Welliver's style. He's a coach. And he'll coach anybody, anytime, any level. And there wasn't a JV game that went by that he wasn't right there on the sideline with us, throwing out ideas and talking to players as they're coming off the field. It's invaluable. So really appreciate that. I'll get better. I learned a lot this year, an awful lot. And I look forward to the same kind of thing next year. We'll keep this thing rolling for sure. I do have one award that we're going to give out, a little plaque here, for the JV. It's just Crawfordsville High School Football JV Award. And what it represents is just simply somebody that stood out to us as being able to adapt and handle any role that they were given. And that role did change quite a bit for this player from the start of the season to the end. And I just think it's well-deserving. Now, just because one guy's getting an award doesn't mean other guys weren't right there in the running and people we debated and talked about. But Katie Patton, come on up, because if you guys could have watched him every day, he's a quarterback in nature from when he played before, but he didn't start out a quarterback. We had somebody else that we thought was beating him out, and then we lost that player. And I said, okay, Kate, it's yours. Give it a shot. And talk about a guy in battle. But more than that, he doesn't just have a quarterback mindset. Every day in practice, he's the first guy out there to run on to the scout team, play linebacker, play safety. He'd play running back and play wide receiver on the scout team if Caden Underwood was quarterbacking at the time. I mean, just whatever it took. And we had other guys that did that too. A lot of other guys that did that as well. But Caden really stepped up and stood out, and we wanted to recognize that. So congratulations, Caden.
Just let me thank you, Coach Bean, and just let me say that the JV award was something that we discussed at length as a staff. We decided that we wanted to be a kid that really just played JV, and we had several boys this year get an opportunity to play on Friday nights, and who probably didn't think that was going to happen, but really all the JV kids just did an outstanding job. It's not easy to go out there, and sometimes I feel bad for our freshmen. The programs I came from, there would be 25 or 30 freshmen practicing as freshmen. And we don't have that luxury here at Crawfordsville. Now, obviously, we're trying to get more and more kids out. Those freshmen are thrown into the fire, and all of us who play football in this room, talk to the adults now, know that when you were a freshman, it's very, very difficult to go in there against a junior or a senior. That can be mighty intimidating, especially in football. And I thought our kids did a great job with that this year. Next, I would like to bring up.
I just realized something that gave me a lot of trouble since this thing's being taped. I want to thank my wife for letting me continue to coach for some crazy reason. She very well could be at home right now watching this. I didn't tell her it was on, but she's got these notifications. YouTube pops. I probably already got a text saying, "Why didn't you tell me it was on YouTube?" So anyway, thank you, Amy, for letting me continue to do this.
Next, I'd like to bring up Coach Riker before he comes up. He's going to give away a couple special awards. You know, we have a few special awards we give tonight, and I thought Coach Bean said it well. Sometimes these awards can, they recognize one player, but I think some other kids walk out of here thinking, I wasn't valued. Everybody's valued. These are not easy decisions. And, you know, we want to celebrate the kids who have the award winning tonight, but I just want to point out that if you don't win an award tonight, you're still a very valuable part of everything that we do in our program. And in the end, you know, the real award that you got tonight was the certificate for playing, and the fact that you stuck it out. You know, we worked hard here for a couple of years trying to get more kids to play football, and it's not easy to come into a program that, you know, is struggling. And I just want to commend these kids for sticking it out this year. And to me, that's the most important award we've given tonight, is the ones we just gave. And those are the kids that finished the season. So thank you, but I'm going to turn this over to Coach Riker.
Good evening, everyone. I appreciate your time. I'm grateful that you shared your sons with me. Gentlemen, certainly miss time spent with you in the afternoons. Got to thank the coaches, right? Why does somebody come back and coach from central office? I miss coaching. I don't miss the losing. I don't miss the Saturday, the Sunday, and all those things. But I miss being around the players, and I miss being around the coaches. And so that's why I'm here. And it's because of your sons and your daughters as managers that truly try to find a way to make this work. So I appreciate the opportunity very much. Last night, my wife and I watched a college girls basketball game where my daughter played at. Why? I don't know, because it was in our system to watch girls basketball for all those years. So for you senior parents who are about to enter into that era of not having a sporting event to go watch, you're always welcome on Friday nights. Hopefully we're post-COVID very soon and we get those stands filled back up. Defensively, you know, we took on, you know, Carry the Axe. Carry the Axe came from my love for firemen, right? Not the way some of you think, right? Not the calendars, ladies. It's because my grandfather was a fireman, always looked at firemen as true blue collar. I know the chief back there gets to wear the white collar now, and you kids probably don't even know the difference between blue collar and white collar. Blue collar is the working man's shirt. That's why it's blue. It gets sweaty, it gets dirty. And that truly is what Crawfordsville football was that some of you played for and some of us played against. When you played against Crawfordsville football, you were going to get hit, you were going to get hit again, and you were going to get hit as the whistle was ending. All right? So there was this mentality of Crawfordsville, and I talked to Coach Chavatello about the blue-collar mentality. So Carry the Axe, the fireman, the idea that you are going to sacrifice yourself, you're going to run into something for your teammate, and to do those things. So that's why we had the axe on the sideline. Appreciate Coach Wycott making that and making it so it was safe. We had this whole conversation whether or not the axe, what it should be made of, and thank God we made it out of foam, because the very first time we practiced it, it came up and hit somebody in the nose and still split them. So if we had used a real axe, which Chief Patton had offered, probably would not have a job, and we'd still be in an insurance battle. So there you go. Even as somebody who's always about risk, and let those things happen. But defensively, we came along. We had, if you watch film, there are moments that we looked like a very good varsity football team out there. And then we would have some of those letdowns. You know, and just like we talked, right? I made the worst mistake ever early on in the season. I said, we have more DBs than I've ever had in my career. And then the next thing you know, we're moving JV guys up. did not go play Mooresville early on in their season because they had a handful of starters that were quarantined. Danville, who looked like a Division III football team, right? We went and played Danville with 7 starters. So that is Crawfordsville football. Those are the wins that matter. And those are the reasons I 100% believe that we are going to get this thing going in the right direction. So grateful for that. I hope you gentlemen continue to work because these good football programs, the best, are still playing. So now you need to make sure that you begin working now because they are. And it does. I promise you, if you put the time in, it will pay off for you and it will pay off for the entire program. I get the great honor of doing 2 of the awards that Coach said. So first, we'll start with the most improved. The discussion around the most improved player was a fun coaching conversation. We sat and we talked about numerous players and just had a lot of things that came in. You know, as a team, we saw several young men greatly improve. We saw them improve in several ways. We had one young man we were talking about being the most improved player just because his behavior and his attitude was so dramatically better, so much better than last year. We had another player that last year, I'm not sure, and he had several games he didn't finish because he was injured in games, and then this year finished every single game. We discussed some players who were just amazing practice players. We discussed players who improved statistically. And it was just one of those fun conversations. When you're at the end of the season and you're just exhausted, it starts to kind of re-energize you and comes along. But at the end, we all agreed on one player that improved the most from the first game to the last game. This player even missed a handful of games. But when he came back, we automatically, instantly noticed that he improved our team, he improved our practices, he improved our defense, he improved our presence, he improved our attitude. And so this year, it's my pleasure to introduce the most improved player, and we honor Evan Chan. Okay, next, the most valuable player. I guess when you're in central office, you get to do the fun ones, right? So, I don't know, it's special treatment. I don't get it very often. There we go. This discussion, you know, again, it kind of, you sit there and you have great conversation and you start going through your players. And this year, you know, normally it's like, okay, this is your senior, this is your leader. I mean, we discussed a whole range of possibilities. I mean, we discussed maybe not even doing a most valuable player because of all the circumstances. And in all honesty, whoever actually made it to practice and was able to dress and practice was the most valuable player that day. If you made it to Friday night, that was something. I mean, you know, last year we had injuries. This year we had injuries plus quarantines and symptoms and all those things that hopefully we will be done with by next fall. But so, you know, that came along. We discussed players like Corbin Smith. Here's a perfect example, right? I'm not sure he had ever missed an event until tonight, so I'm not sure who he's socializing with, but no. We talked about Isaac Rogers, another player, right? That would just, oh, let Isaac do it. And, you know, those type of players that come along with it. However, at the end, we just settled on the one guy that stood out on Friday nights to our staff and to the other coaching staffs. As coaches, you know, you talk to the other coaching staffs before games, and they're always like, hey, this player, this number, he looks really good. And so it was said. Coach Gerald wanted him on every special team. Coach Slicker designed game plans with him. It was a strong consideration. And he was obviously very strong on defense, and that's why he didn't do the award. So we placed him on the wide side of the field because, in general, high school football, you run to the wide side and you pass to the short side, so you want your rush coming from the wide side. Offensive coordinators started running away from him. It was very evident, and teams had a game plan around him, and he was always part of Thank you.
Coach, and appreciate all the time and effort. Coaching the defense, anybody who's ever coached football knows, really takes the most time of any coach on the staff. You have to watch the most film, you have to break the most things down. You've got to enter the other team's plays in, you've got to draw the cards for week. It really is a taxing job to be the defensive coordinator. I've done defense, offense, special teams, and there's nothing more time consuming than defense. And we really thank Coach Riker. We want him back next year. Well, I think Coach Bean said it when he was up here earlier. You know, we're as a coaching staff, we're really excited about hopefully being together again next year. We feel like we made some changes on the staff that it took some time maybe to get in what we want in terms of like the style that we want to play. I know we threw the ball more this year, and people say you can't win by throwing. I think you can win by balance, is what I think. And so, me, I want to run the ball more next year as we move forward. But I still want to be able to throw it. We have the athletes to throw it. We have the athletes to run it. With that, and Coach mentioned something here about these championship-type programs are practicing every day. And that matters. I'm telling you, that matters. Those kids are still playing football at those schools. We have some boys in this room. I'm talking to the underclassmen here before I get back to the seniors. We have got to make a commitment to the weight room. Though the one thing I think that stands out is there was no game, none, where we were the more physical team this year. Now, we might have been equal in a couple of games, but there was no game where we were the most physical team on the field. And I think moving forward, you always talk about controlling the controllable kind of things. One thing we can try to control is how strong we get, as a football program. And, it comes from hard work. You don't just, you're stronger. And so I have a list of kids right here, and I'm just going to name them publicly, and I'm not picking on it. I just wanted to throw it out there. We need your son in specialized weights. He needs to be in weights class. It is designed, there's a 0 period for football. And so that way they can still take their academic courses. Obviously, you can ask the players, this is the very first team meeting we basically had. I said, the number one reason you're here is school. It's not football. There's nobody here going to play in the NFL, at least not yet. And even if you do, your career's so short. Right? Academics are why we're here, so we're not trying to take away from your son's academics. What we want him to do is get stronger. And I have a list of boys here that we need to make sure we get them in class next semester. And we've talked to them already. And if there's any doubt whether or not your son is in specialized, we need to get that fixed. And I can go down to the council, but we need your support as well, saying, yes, I want my son lifting. But we've had meetings with Coach Riker, Mr. Barton, Mr. Motes, Mr. Gerald about what we can do to help get our boys stronger. And that's our goal, is our program right now as we move into next year. Obviously, the coaches are going to try to improve and be a better coach, but we're really going to make a heavy commitment to the weight room. We have one more award tonight before everything else goes to the seniors. We have one more that we're going to give out here, and it's Rookie of the Year. When we started this last year, and somebody who comes into the program, it doesn't necessarily have to be a freshman, but it is a freshman again this year, our Rookie of the Year. This was a young man, and I think back to the very first game at Greencastle, ball's tipped, he catches it basically out of the air, basically almost scores a touchdown. He ends up going from a no starter to a two-way starter to returning kicks. He did it all, and honestly, we overplayed him. I feel bad about it. I asked too much of him as a freshman. And he gets hurt on a free play, which he would have scored a touchdown. He was interfered with, which would have helped his feet out on. And this young man, has to then go have surgery. He texted me and he says, Coach, I'm playing. Like, I'm worried the kid's not going to play in the future because of his injury. And he's a great kid, and we're really looking forward to having him in the future. But our Rookie of the Year this year goes to Ethan McLemore. I know Ethan's excited not to have those crutches around, and we hope him a speedy and healthy recovery. The good news was, I can probably say this publicly, is that surgery, they said that what they thought was wrong was all that was wrong, right? I mean, There's nothing else. So we're hoping for a complete recovery there so Ethan can play not just football, but every sport that he wants to here at Crawfordsville High School. The next award would be given by Coach Gerald if he was here, but he is not. He may be watching at home. It's our Special Teams Award. We had a lot of different guys play special teams this year. I know people forget about how important that is. And you watch us at times this year. We struggled on our punt at times because we lost our long snapper like a day before the game, and we really struggled to replace that this year. You know, special teams make a big difference in the game. We felt like, after we discussed it as a staff, that the boy that played in every game this year and made the biggest impact on special teams, whether it be potentially covering down the field, on punt, or returning a punt, or returning a kickoff. Andrew Martin is our special teams player today. Most years there is an all-conference meeting in terms of all the coaches and players from around go have a dinner, and it's really nice, and obviously during the COVID era we can't do that. When you finish in whatever place you finish in the conference will depend on how many all-conference players you get. So hypothetically, Danville gets like 6 all-conference first team, and they get 6 second team. Finishing what we did, I believe us and Southmont each only get 2. So you get 2 first team and 2 second team. And so you submit a list of names, right? Coaches go through them. And we were lucky this year, you know, we got our 4. We got 4 seniors able to be mentioned. We have two young men here tonight who made second team all conference. They're both 2-way starters. They're both 4-year players. They're both going to be missed incredibly next year. They both are just super kids. Our second team all conference, and you'll get you get a certificate. Thank you, Coach Green. Our second team all conference this year is Peyton Boozenbarg and Andrew Martin. All right, with that, we did get 2 first team selections. One of those young men is not here tonight. He didn't miss a workout this summer. He didn't miss a plate workout last year when we were doing it. And one of our all-conference members is senior Corbin Smith. You know, a lot of times you watch football games, people forget about the linemen. And Corbin just did a great job this year. You know, last year, if you were at practice, you would know that I was not happy with the snaps at times. And when we moved quarterbacks in this year, we had a perfect snap 99.999% of the time. Just really pleased with Corbin and his work ethic. I know Corbin wants to play some college football. We hope we get him there. Our other first team all-conference selected again by the coaches around is Alex Hernandez. We still have a couple of major awards right here. The first one is the mental attitude. I went to the volleyball awards the other night. Coach Johnson said, you know, this is the most important award that she gives. And I always hate to say this one's the most important, but they're all important. Certainly there's no greater award to win as a player than being told that your attitude was exactly what all the coaches were hoping for. And really when we talk about it as a staff, in terms of dedication, well, one thing I remember is this young man starts a game, he plays, the next week we got a player back who had been quarantined, and we go to him and say, hey, you may not, he says, like, Coach, I don't care if I play, I just want the team to win. He was willing to do whatever we asked. He was here every day, and he did end up starting some games this year. I had him in class, he's just an outstanding kid. He never missed a weight workout. Our mental attitude this year goes to Jake Clark. We started something this year that I think is, we talked about it as a staff. We have 3 young men here tonight who have been a varsity football player for 4 years. 4. Now we have a couple freshmen tonight who got varsity letters. We had a couple freshmen last year who got varsity letters. These 3 seniors have been a varsity letter winner for 4 years. They have contributed time, effort, dedication, you name it. They have not had on the field a great 4 years in terms of wins and losses. But these 3 young men have had great careers as students. They've had great careers as teammates. To me, these guys, all the seniors will be missed, but I'm really, really pleased to recognize. It's called a 4-year award. These are great little trophies right here. And we have 3 seniors. I'm going to call them up one at a time here. So we're going to start with Nathan Schrader. Nate is a young man. We let him play some tight end this year. I still remember the pass that he catches in the end zone against Southmont. I don't know how he caught it with this thing on his hand. And I tried to give him a belly bump and he about knocked me over. So we hope Nathan, wish Nathan all the best, and think we can get him on the football field in the future. Another one would be senior Peyton Boozbar. Boozy's one of those guys that we had him playing running back one week this year. We had him playing left tackle. We had him playing right tackle. We had him playing defensive end. We had him playing inside linebacker. In the end, Boozbar had to be on the field. It's been that way for 4 years, and I congratulate Peyton. Our other 4-year award winner is senior Andrew Martin. I want to give Coach Reichert the credit on this one. He said, you know what? He said, I just think we're going to see a different Andrew Martin this year. And he couldn't have been more right. Andrew, we've already given out most improvement and all that, but there's nobody on our program who I think made a bigger jump from his junior year to his senior year than Andrew did. We'll really miss Andrew. Enjoyed having him around. I really have enjoyed all of these seniors. And to finish up tonight, we started this tradition last year. And thanks to all the people who have helped donate, we were able to get some new uniforms. Although, I'm going to say this publicly, I'm not pleased. We never did get our gold pants that we ordered back in March, like the first week of March. By the way, they're in now, guys. Yeah, just in time for the season to be over. So we do have them. But unfortunately, our seniors were never able to wear them. Nobody likes our gold pants we have right now. We did get new gold ones. We did get new white ones, which we were able to wear. I'm very pleased with the way our new uniforms look. So sure they're going to last like I wanted to. But anyway, what the seniors are going to get are the blue ones that we began the season with. So the number may have changed. And the reason we do this is we want to give them something to remember their career by. And I know this is tradition that me and Coach Wright or Coach Whitecott have. I know I still have my old high school jersey. It's just kind of cool. Now I guarantee it doesn't fit me anymore. And I'll challenge you seniors to see if it fits you here in another 15 or 20 years. But it's just something that they've earned. And we have 12 seniors here tonight, and we'd like them to, I'm going to call them up one at a time, and we're going to give them their jersey, and if we could, maybe, I know it's COVID era, if you want to come up and take a picture of who's ever here tonight holding their jerseys. So we'll start with number 63, Keegan Abney. You stay right here. Number 14, Caleb Bell. Number 50, Peyton Boozbar. Number 56, Jaden Clark. Number 12, Andrew Martin. 89, Trey McLemore. Number 42, Moises Mora. Number 24, Jack Pendleton. Number 58, Nathan Schrader. We have two seniors not here tonight. Number 55, Eli French. Number 57, Corbin Smith. And we'll miss all these guys, but there's no one we're going to miss more than number 22, Noah Nelson. Stay here for 1 minute, guys. Let me say this publicly. I always tell these kids, up front, but if there's anything that we can do, I know as coaches up here, it may just be a simple letter of recommendation, or you just need anything that we could help you with. These coaches are here to help you. We wish you all the best. If we'd have taken a picture of you 4 years ago standing up here, you've all changed in your own ways. You're all going to go your separate ways right here. All these young men right here have an outstanding future. No one knows for sure what that's going to be, but I can promise you that Crawfordsville High School has prepared these kids to be outstanding citizens someday, and hopefully the football program is helping them as well. Thank you, seniors.
Close in a little bit and get them up, especially for the camera that Coach Welliver has.
In closing, I know that, in the past, it's felt more like a celebration. We've been able to eat and share, and do things. My hope is that these seniors who are involved, we're all athletes in this room, who have other sports, that you're able to play those sports this year, from wrestling to swimming to basketball to baseball. One thing we have to do, and I guess I'm directing this just to the young kids, so we have to make sure, no matter what, we overcome this COVID in terms of our football program. We have to move forward this year. So, as these seniors walk out of here, 900-classmen, you should thank them. Hopefully you're going to always be friends with them. But now, like I said, it's a very sad day for me, because as they walk away tonight, the good thing is now our juniors step forward, and now it's your program, juniors, and freshmen are now sophomores, and sophomores are now juniors. So as we move forward into the program, we talked to our team how Frankfurt last year was 0-10, and they were 5-5 this year. Things can change. We just have to be the ones to make the change. Again, thank you for coming tonight. Thanks for all your support this season. I wish you all the health and safety, and we'll hopefully see everybody in this room soon. Thank you.
Hey, yeah, man. I'm good. How you doing? That's basketball. So, I don't really talk to